It's Brave Talk Radio, and it's time for another enlightening broadcast of Brave Girls Talk, because we have something important to say. Hi, this is Tony Emahel, and I'm sitting here today with the crew of Brave Girls Talk, a dynamic and exciting e-group at Elevation Church. I have with me Lily and Madison. Say hello, Lily and Madison.
Hi.
So glad that the two of you are going to share your wisdom with us today. And I hear that you had a dynamic message preached at the church on this morning.
Yes, we did. So, the message today, it was about challenges that gifted people faced this morning. And so we talked about that in church. And it's people who are gifted tend to befriend people who are not gifted because they feel bad for them sometimes. And they feel like they have to save them. And so the meaning of that message is, what people do is they try and become perfect, and sometimes people change themselves completely because they think that God only chooses perfect people to use to save people. But the truth is, God can He can choose the craziest of people to try and save people because of how it's just, it doesn't matter your personality or anything. It's if God chooses to use you.
Amen. That's really good. One of the challenges about being gifted is that you do oftentimes surround yourself with people who are not gifted. And the challenge is you run the risk of dying having not surrounded yourself by anybody but other people who are not as gifted as you. So is it important, based on what you heard today, is it important to have both in your life, people who are gifted and people who are not gifted?
Yes, I'd say that, because you'd have some people pushing you to be better. Like, you want to have people that are better than you and people that are lower than you in your life. So you have people pulling you back and people pushing you forward.
That's very good. That's very good. So when we talk about how God does not require you to be perfect before He can use you, and when we talk about one of the things that Lily shared about how God can take the craziest of people and yet use them for His purpose, what does that really mean? What does that mean?
He chooses those that are unqualified so He can qualify them. So then in the future, people won't be able to say, see, look at Jimmy. Without me, he wouldn't be where he is. Jimmy would be able to say, God got me to where I was.
So in other words, God desires to get the glory out of everything that we do. What else did you find that was very intriguing from today's message, Lily?
I felt that the ending statement about the snakes, so the ending statement was, when there are snakes in your life, that means that you are too low. And so whenever there are snakes following you in your life, that just means you need to climb higher. And once you get high enough, they can't reach you anymore. And really the meaning of that statement is, when people who are like bullies, or it doesn't matter who, it's just people who are not following God, whenever they are in your life, that means that your faith is too low. And so you need to take the next step in your faith, and the higher you get in your faith, the harder it is for them to reach you.
Like the snakes, they can't go past the snake line because the air beyond the snake line is way too thin for the snakes to be able to survive. For example, if people have fake friends, the fake friends would be the snakes, and the higher you get above their level, they wouldn't be able to get there because,
So they wouldn't be able to impact you or your life because they can't reach the same level that you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. So if you could say a prayer for your friends and them being able to know what their gifts are and to go higher and to be able to achieve wonderful things in their life, what would that prayer be?
My prayer for you today would be that you could know God and become a better man or a woman in Christ. Allow him to help you make your decisions so you can live a better, fuller life. And that he gets the glory out of everything that you do.
My prayer to you today would be that, number one, that I hope you are able, from this podcast to maybe next podcast, I want at least 5 of you to take the next step in your faith, so then the snakes cannot reach you anymore. And number 2, I want you guys to be able, and the people who you feel are the snakes in your life, I want you to try and kind of introduce them to church if they don't go to church at all. I want you to kind of introduce them to church and kind of bring them into your church to see how they would react, because really everyone has been a snake at least once in their life. And so when you started going to church, you probably became less of a snake than you were before. And so I want you to try and get the snakes in your life to church if they've never been, or if they do go, but never really ever. Or if they watch online, invite some of your friends who watch online to go to church with you next Sunday. And I hope you guys have a great week.
All right, this has been Brave Girls Talk, and we will talk with you again on next week.
Be brave!
You are listening to Brave Girls Talk, a small group ministry for middle school girls.